Hey, good morning guys. Ed Froelich with the First Time Gardener. Doing a little cleanup this morning. So from the debris we had from Idalia hurricane that came through. We just picked up the yard and we're burning this now. But we are going to get over into our garden here this morning and going to plant our carrots and onions this morning. So stick around, stay tuned. We'll show you how to do all that. Good morning gardeners. We are back over on the earth bed that we are going to plant today. We're doing carrots and that because one, carrots, I have them in a starter tray. You really can't let them go more than 3 weeks because you don't want that taproot to curl up. They're going to get all funky. So it's time to put them in the ground. But before we do them, I have to amend the soil here. And that's what we're going to do. First thing is amend it before we plant them. I'm going to do that with black cow potting soil, peat moss, a little bit of 10-10-10 fertilizer. We're going to turn all that in with my tiller cultivator. Just going to try to do the top 6 inches to 8 inches deep so the carrots have a nice fluffy soil to have the taproot go down, which is going to, you know, give you some nice straight carrots. So anyway, that's it. So follow along. We're going to get started in here. Okay guys, so you can see where we had our buckwheat starting on our when we turned it over. These are when the buckwheat went to seed. It's starting to come up over there, but I need to really get these things in the ground, so I'm not going to let this in this particular spot grow. Our other plot that we have over there that's going to plant the potatoes in, I still have time for that. My potatoes aren't going to be here for another week and a half, so I'll have time to let that grow. So meanwhile, we're going to amend this. So I'm going to put some peat moss down first over this here, and then I'm going to turn that in. Then I'm going to add black cow potting soil and some fertilizer, and probably going to go over to the compost pile, get a wheelbarrow of compost and put that in there. We're going to turn all that in, then we're going to plant the seedlings. All right, let's follow along. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit more in than what I have here. Now this again, the only purpose of doing this is to keep something in the soil that will hold moisture. It has no nutritional value. On there. All right, we're going to turn that in real quick with the cultivator. Okay guys, I'm going to go over, get a wheelbarrow full of my compost, and I'll be back with you in just a minute. Alright guys, we are back. 1 wheelbarrow full of compost. There it is. Nice and rich. This is all homemade compost. We're going to put that in the garden. We're going to turn that in. Then we're going to put some black cow on top with some 10-10-10 and some potting soil. We're going to turn that in, and then we're going to get to planting. Now you got to remember, this is the second time we've grown in this plot, so the soil hasn't been amended a whole lot yet. So it takes a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, to amend the soil so that you have a good soil. Like I said in the previous video, once you get your base soil built, you don't want to keep tilling it really deep. You only want to do the surface when you amend it every season before you plant. Alright guys, so now we're going to go ahead and cultivate that in. Alright guys, now you want to kind of just rake it flat so we can put on our next layer. Now we'll get our next layer of, we're going to put some 10-10-10 in now, and then we're going to put some potting soil and then the black cow. We're going to turn all that in, and that'll be it for this bed, and we can start planting. Okay guys, just going to put some 10-10-10 down now. Carrots and onions are pretty heavy feeders, so I want to get a good base to get them started, and you don't want to put too much in to what you call it hot, to where it's going to burn your roots of your plants. But this is slow releasing fertilizer. It's a balanced fertilizer between nitrogen, phosphates, and calcium. This is potting soil that we're going to put on next. Just using up the bag here. I've got another one. I'm going to just use one whole bag for this area. Now this is a Miracle Grow garden soil. Rake it smooth so we got a little bit everywhere. Okay, now we're going to put our black cow in. Alright guys, that's the last of it. We are going to flatten it out with our rake, till it in, flatten it one more time, and then we're ready to plant. You want to try to rake this out so it's about no more than 2 inches. We've got a pretty rich compost here going on. I mean, we have a pretty rich soil going on here so far with everything we added, so we don't have to go too crazy with this here. Let's till this in, and then we'll rake it out, and we're ready to plant. Okay guys, now just time to rake it smooth so we have a nice a nice flat area to plant in, and the carrots should do real well here, I'm hoping. I planted carrots last year and they did really well as far as the tops go, but when you pulled them up, they were all deformed and stuff, and I think it was just because the soil wasn't soft enough and the taproot had a hard time getting its place down into the soil. Okay guys, so we're getting ready to plant our carrots. These are the Bolero carrots that we're going to be planting. And two reasons that I picked these: they were the most common carrot for like first-time growers of carrots, so they're supposed to be successful and productive. And the second reason was because they grow consistently throughout the carrot, so they don't go from a big round to a sharp point. I like my carrots to be larger in size and continuously the same size all the way down. So this brand is supposed to do that. So we'll see. So you saw us preparing the soil. So now I just have a little stick. I'm going to make our holes to transplant these, and you can see they're looking getting leggy right now and looking a little shaggy, so that's why I want to put them in the ground. Plus, if you let these in here too long, as the taproot grows, the taproot's going to go around and just incorporate into the roots that are there, and you want your taproot to be able to go straight down, so it grows the most perfect carrot that you can get. So anyway, so here we go. We're going to, let me take you down here. And I left a little area here just so I could kind of keep the controls of the weeds from growing in. And we are going to go and start here, and we're going to do about every 4 inches. We're going to do this row here. All right, so let's try, see what we got here. Okay, you can see the taproot there starting. See, that's the taproot, so we want to put that in very gingerly. You don't go above your first leaves that came out when you first planted them. I forget what they call. These are your true leaves that came out, but these 2 leaves right here is from when it was planted and it first poked through the ground. You want to make sure you don't bury any deeper than those. And I'm going to put my little sign. I got my little sign, Bolero carrots, so I don't forget the name of them. Now here you can see there's 2 of them. We're going to separate those because we only want to grow 1 carrot per each one. So you can see I'm going to put that in there. Now there's a lot of controversy on whether transplanting carrots, you can do it or you can't do it. I've seen a lot of successful people transplant carrots. Now anything you transplant, as you know, is going to go into shock, but hopefully if we're going to lose any, we only lose a couple. See, and you can separate them pretty easy. Just be gentle when you separate them, and the roots will come apart. All right, there we go. We're going to separate. Now this one's, I'm just going to pinch that off because it's already falling apart. But then remember, just go easy. If you just squeeze and pull real lightly, gingerly, see, you can separate them. And it's just important to make sure over the next 3 or 4 days these don't dry out. All right, guys. Well, you kind of see what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these planted in here, and we'll come back to you after I got them all planted. I don't know. Hopefully you can see it. I've got 4 rows of carrots planted. Now it's best to do this in the evening. I just got so much to do today that I just don't want to come out here late evening because the mosquitoes are out and stuff. So I'm gonna water this in real good. You know, they're gonna go into shock from transplanting them. Usually all the plants go into a little bit of shock. So I want to keep them, biggest thing is to keep them wet, damp, so that they can survive the heat. And then I also have a shade cover that puts 50% shade. I'm going to put that over this here just to keep it so the soil and give the best chance of them surviving. All right, so I'm going to just water it in and put the shade cloth on it. I got a few more in there I'm going to plant in between here, but anyway, I just wanted to show you what they look like right now, and we're going to come back in 2 weeks and see how many survived and what they're looking like. All right, let's water this in real quick. I'm going to try to give it like an inch of water and put the shade cloth on it, and we're going to hope for the best that these pick up. Okay guys, so that will give us 50% shade for these things, and I'll probably keep it on there a week or two, just because this gets full sun, so trying to do the best we can to make them survive. And we'll probably come back here twice a day and make sure that the ground's nice and moist. So that's it on planting our carrots. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up, appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe. We're still growing this channel, it's a new channel. And if you have any comments at all, or anything you'd like more confirmation on, yeah, just leave them in the comments. All right guys, thank you so much for tuning in, I appreciate it. Till we see you on the next one, stay safe, God bless. Look out for the next video. Thanks for watching.